Hello everybody, Carl Keister here. Welcome back to Clear Surf Financial Education. So today I want to talk a little bit about something I find very important, which is often overlooked. It's one of the number one things you should know about financial advising, financial planning after spending 14 years in that business, and that is diversification. There's one thing that you'll get from this message, and that is stay to the end. I'm going to give you some tips, but I want you to think about this. I have a course down below too if you'd also like to find out more information on planning, budgeting, taxes, how to save money on taxes, retirement planning. That course is listed down below. Now, keep in mind, like, diversification is something you really want to keep in mind when you're planning. And I say that because there's always going to be cycles. So what do I mean by that? So right now you've seen that Bitcoin, and that has been getting demolished here in like about the last month, I would say, maybe a little longer, but it was really flying. It was up and it made Kathy Wood's ARK investment ETFs one of the hottest ones out there, biggest returns. And it's very much underperforming now because she was the number one holding in that was Tesla. She had Square, which that is also, Square has also been tied to Bitcoin because they allow you to buy Bitcoin on their platform. Tesla bought Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheet. He even said you could use Bitcoin to buy the cars there for a while. Now recently he's reversed that. He came out this week and said that he's not going to allow you to purchase a Tesla with Bitcoin. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Diversification, an old saying is diversification is your only free lunch, and that's still true today. I'm going to give you some idea of what I mean by that. So I mentioned Bitcoin. So far, Bitcoin is one of these assets. In December, I've got videos I did back in December. You can check it out. It was at 19,000, and I said it had gotten here back in 2017. It made it to 17 to 19,000 and went all the way down to 3,500. I said it's either going to break up or break down. Well, it got some bigger institutions got behind it. Elon Musk was a big reason that people got behind it, and it went from 19,000 to 65,000. Well, as of today, I'm looking at it, it's down to 43,000. So Bitcoin is now down 25%. Yeah. 25% down. Tesla stock down 20%. But on the flip side of the coin, if you look at the banks, they've been doing well because interest rates are expected to rise. We're already talking about inflation coming in soon. I mentioned that in a couple of videos as well. Inflation's rearing its head, and there's no doubt about it. If you look at lumber, you can look at copper, you can look at groceries. Anything you want to look at, it's up. Price of used cars. So how do you offset this? Well, you know Tesla's going to have bad days. Bitcoin, I can't tell you right now if it's going to continue and bounce back. If it does, you can play it by Mara, M-A-R-A, or Riot. If you don't want to spend, 65 or even right now $43,000 for one Bitcoin, you can buy a $25 stock in Riot. And if Bitcoin reverses, that stock is going to go too. I mean, that stock was up 70 bucks at one point this year. Now it's down to 25. So if you want to play that, you can. But keep in mind, gold is up 5%. People are worried about inflation. When you're worried about inflation, they like to buy gold. I think silver's up even more than gold. I didn't pull that up, but I'm pretty certain it's up even more than gold this year. And then oil. Oil's up 12.5%. So that's just in the last 3 months. I pulled up the last 3 months numbers. Up 5 for gold, up 12.5 for oil, while Tesla's down 20% and Bitcoin down 25%. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're retired, that's a whole different story. You need to be diversified. There's a lot of talk about you don't need bonds anymore because bonds aren't paying anything. But I can tell you bonds give you that security that when you have these moves, when a stock market comes down, because it was only a few months ago, I believe in March, that the NASDAQ corrected 20%. When that happens, and you've got 56% of your portfolio in bonds, it allows you to sleep a little bit better at night. So, I know where people say that sometimes you can grab these stocks on a discount, like the Bitcoin and Tesla. And there's also a lot of the cryptocurrencies out there now. So now you're starting to see more of the retail investor is going on and getting their own account, and they're moving out of Bitcoin into Ethereum. It was up to $4,000. I think last I saw it was down to like $3,500. So that's a much more reasonable price if you're going to buy a entire share or a coin in this example. But I just want you to keep in mind, you should have some balance in there. Maybe have some gold, have some oil, especially when, you know, it makes it a little bit easier when you go to the pump and you pay a higher price for gas when you're, you know, when you're holding something that's appreciating in your account. It feels a little bit better. Same thing when you go to Costco. We just went to Costco. We cannot get out of that store without spending $250. Anywhere from $250 to $300, $400 sometimes. So Costco stock has done really well. People are going there. Home Depot, just went there today myself. Home Depot stock, it's off its high. It's down a little bit down today, even though they had incredible numbers. The stock went from 250 to 345. So I would expect it to pull back, and it is. Even though they have tremendous numbers, it's under pressure today. But that wouldn't be surprising to me to see that pull back in a little bit. Yeah, it could drop. It could drop to 315, somewhere in that ballpark, and get some bids. But longer term, you know, that they did not miss a beat during the coronavirus. Costco did not. You know, Walmart came out with great numbers. So these retailers, the big retailers, are doing really well. It's unfortunate because you've seen so many small businesses get hit and lose money. Restaurant owners, you know, people that work in the leisure industry or tourism, and even countries are just, you know, they're opening back up. So you definitely want to be diversified. So I know it's tempting to think, oh, if I buy Bitcoin at 45 and it goes back to 65, man, that's like quick, you know, that's a massive move. You can get a 30, 40% move here. But remember, it can also go back down. This thing was, as I mentioned earlier, 17,000, didn't have as much acceptance back then, but went down to 3,500. But now you have Elon Musk out there basically saying, you know, their whole thing is electric vehicles and cleaner planet. And he kind of mentioned the other day that the Bitcoin, those cryptocurrencies take a lot of energy to mine the Bitcoin. So he kind of backed off. He didn't say they sold their Bitcoin. He just said he doesn't know if that's the right way to, you know, use it as a currency because it does take so much energy. So these are the things that you have to think about. If you're worried about the environment, such as he should be, if he's, you know, trying to make electric cars for a cleaner planet, and then to hold Bitcoin on your balance sheet and billions of it, and then trade it and boost Dogecoin and some others, it kind of talking out both sides of your mouth when you're doing that. It's like, hey, I'm an EV company. I'm trying to make a cleaner planet, but I'm buying Bitcoin because it's a currency per se, a currency. I don't look at Bitcoin as a currency because honestly, to me, it's not regulated. And as you can see, the dollar does move, no doubt about that, but it doesn't move 25% in 3 months, or on the upside, 50%. I think Tesla was up like 300%. Bitcoin had moved up massive amounts as well in the last couple of years. Our currency doesn't move up 50, 100% in a quarter. And that's what you're seeing in Bitcoin. So that's predominantly just a speculation. So anyway, definitely stay focused on diversification. If you want more information, I have a course I created down below. Check that out. There's a lot of information in there that could help you. And also just keep looking for that next opportunity. You know, I'm going to look at these. I'm going to watch these closely, but you know, I'm not sold on this. And if you want to play Bitcoin a different way, would be Coin. It's COIN, which is one way to play all these currencies. Now that went public. The number when it went public was supposed to be $250 a share. The day it went public, I think it went to 400 or $4.25. I can pull it up here quick. I want to say it was over $400. And let's just see here. Let me move this out to a little bit further. Yeah, 430. So the day it went public, it talked about 250 on Coin. Now they exchange all different currencies. So if you want to play it, this thing could still come down, but now you're getting closer to that pre-IPO number of 250. We're below it. A couple of days, yesterday it went down to 238. Today it's positive back to 248. So now you're in that area of 250. We'll have to see it holds because there's people that got out. The insiders got out on day one, anywhere from 250, 300, actually went as high as, let's see, low as 310 that day, high as 410. So insiders got out. It's been going down. I've been kind of wanting to see what it would do, and I knew it would take some time. It's not unusual. It's only been a couple months. It's not unusual to see these stocks pop, just like Bumble and some others. A lot of stocks pop on the IPO, and you get a better chance to buy them when they come in. So if you want a more conservative approach than Bitcoin, look at something like Coin. It still may come in a little bit more. I'm not saying it's done going down, but it definitely looks more attractive here at 250, which is the lowest it's been since it went public, and that was back on April 14th. So keep it in mind. Other ways to play it: Mara, Riot, Coin. But don't forget diversification. You can buy USO. If you just want to buy oil because you're tired of paying more at the pump, buy USO and hold on to that. And as it goes higher, it goes higher. Buy XLF. Interest rates should rise. And as interest rates rise, you can buy an ETF that tracks all the financials. So the banks have been doing really well this year. I saw earlier Bank of America is up 25%, Citi about 20. All the banks are up roughly 20 to 25%. You can buy XLF, and that's going to give you access to all those banks. You don't have to guess which bank is going to perform better than another. You'll get a piece of all of them. So maybe buy some financials, XLF. Maybe buy some oil, USO. Maybe keep an eye on Coin. Maybe it's done going down. Or if you want a really cheap stock, Mara or Riot. So I'll leave it there for today, but remember, diversification is key. Don't go all in on one thing. All right, Carl Keister, ClearSurf Financial Education. Take care.